Hello, Ross.
Hi, Peter.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Right. A lot of people know you as an atheist.
Yeah.
What does that really mean when you say you're an atheist?
It means I'm rejecting the claim that there's anything supernatural based on lack of evidence. Yeah.
Okay, so is it possible for an atheist to still believe in supernatural stuff? Are there atheists who believe in supernatural
The word
stuff?
atheist, so even with from the, not the phonetics, but from the root of the words, the A stands for negative.
Okay.
And the theism, a lot of people understand what theism is. So based on theology and stuff like that.
Okay.
So if it's saying I'm theistic, then it's to say you are not believing. So it will be tautological. It will be contradictory to say you don't believe but you believe, that kind of thing. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay. So were you born this way, or you were once religious?
We are all not born with belief. As children, we are not born with belief. It's society that indoctrinates us to believe what we want to believe. And the thing is, it's okay to teach children a lot about the world, but it becomes indoctrination when it's without evidence and imposed belief systems, whether cultural, social, or religious, on people. So,
one question I usually get as an atheist is that, well, Peter, but you have to believe in something. What do you believe in? So as an atheist, what do you believe in?
It's for those who do not know, are ignorant of the fact that there is idea of not believing, that unfortunately would make such statements. And that's how I see it. They didn't know any better, so how can they tell you? And most of the time it's not out of malice or intentional, but that's the society we're raised in. So most people were indoctrinated themselves to believe that there's something. Okay. And it stems from our culture, even pre-colonization, and all these religious superstitions and stuff that we believe, myths that we believe has always been yes say. Somebody said. That somebody, we are still looking for that somebody till today. So a lot of times it's not based on fact or evidence, and that's the sad part. Because as a child, I wanted to believe that everything that was being told to me was actually based on evidence. That's why they were telling me. So I didn't bother to research or anything until I found out that, little do they know themselves. And so I have to find out the truth for myself. Yeah.
So how difficult was it moving away from religion and telling yourself that, unfortunately, what I've been taught is not true, so I have to walk away?
Extremely difficult. It wasn't fair to me to. It hits you when you start to realize that everything you've come to believe in, everything you've invested in, all your prayers since you could remember, since you could put your hands together, was just for nothing. It hits you and it's really painful. It's not funny, and I still don't find it funny till today. A waste of my time. And luckily, I wasn't old enough to pay tithes and all that, so at least a lot of my hard-earned money didn't go into it, but still my family would give me coins or something to take to church, and to think that all that money went to waste, it's painful that the prayers that you would see your mother again, my mom died when I was 4, you are thinking, they said I will see her again when I die one day. And then to think that, actually, you're not going to see her again, and all the other loved ones you've lost, like so many things. It's not a pleasant experience. Most of the time, we all go through stages of grief, when we are leaving religion. And every phase comes with its own hard hit, from denial to, the angry phase to, like all those phases. So you get to the acceptance stage where you go like, okay, this is what it is. This is my truth, and I want to live by my truth.
Okay. Since most people believe that religion gives you some sort of moral compass, it gives you some sort of structure in living life. Now that you are not religious, you're an atheist, how do you go about morality, interacting with other people? What is your metric?
That's where I find humanism as a comfort and a guidance tool, because it guides me on living an ethical life, not just living, but living an ethical life based on reason and compassion. So now you have to rethink everything you do, even everything you think, you do, and you say. that will affect yourself, your environment, and the people, like people in general, whether you know them or you don't know them. I won't say my society, everywhere. Your thoughts, your actions could affect somebody. So you always have to think through what I'm doing. Is it going to harm me? Is it going to harm somebody? Is it going to harm the environment, our planet, things like that? And it's not easy to do. I mean, I think it's easier when you leave everything to God. then life is a bit more easier to go through everything. When the bad comes, when you even do something bad, you're not culpable, because if you put your hands together and close your eyes and say a few words, it's forgiven, you are fine. It's not as easy when you are a humanist, because you hold yourself accountable, and society can hold yourself accountable for your actions. And so you have to consider that what is good for you is to be good for goodness sake. Yeah, not for the fact that you think you are going to go to heaven or something like that, but because it's just good to be good. Yeah.
So will it be right to categorize humanism as a religion, since it's a belief that you are holding about the good for all and all that? Do you have a particular book, like Christians will have their Bible, Muslims have their Quran? How does humanism actually work?
So humanism is based on using your critical thinking faculties and your independent thoughts. So I don't see it as a religion. I've not seen any humanist group that is really based on humanistic values that has any semblance to religion, because it's the only group that I know that allows people to think independent of everyone in the group. So even if you are a leader, you are not even meant to impose on people in the group. It's not like churches where we give a title to somebody, bishop, archbishop, and you know that this person is leading us, whatever he says or she says, we all have to follow. In humanism, it's not like that. It's very much based on democracy as well. So it keeps us in check. Accountability is key. So I don't see anything religious about it. You can be a humanist without being part of a group. So it has nothing to do with coming together and doing something religiously, or a belief system that is based on no deity. I don't see how that is a religion. There's no deity. There's nothing you are worshipping. There's no book or formula to it. It's just as and where you are from, what you are doing. Based on certain contexts, you have to make ethical decisions as you move. Yes. And if you don't know, luckily you join a community so that you can confide in somebody, like, how do I go about this? What do I do with this? What do I do with that? Other things that people in other religions will call sins. We don't have sin. It's either you're doing something bad or right or wrong. So it's right or wrong. It's nothing to do with whether God approves of it or not. If you know the thing is wrong, it's wrong. Just don't do it. That's all.
What is that one thing about humanism that drew you to it? Because there are many competing philosophies out there. There's Stoicism, there are different kinds of groups out there. But what would you say is that one thing that made you feel like, I need to leave out humanism?
Okay, I've read a couple of, not a lot. My Humanism and Atheism is actually not based on books. I didn't become an atheist from books either. A lot of people did, and I appreciate that. But for me, it was watching documentaries and thinking through a lot of things that got me where I am. So luckily for me, I don't really depend on what somebody said about humanism or so on. I know the definition of it, and that definition guides me on how to live. I don't need what somebody says about humanism. And I don't really think that the books are contradicting each other. I think that humanism is a bit broad, so it depends on where you want to focus on. So some people want to focus on the ethics part. Some people want to focus on the humanitarian part, and some people want to focus on the, the advocacy part. So depending on that, people, where they want to focus, but it's all with the fundamental understanding, the same understanding. So for me, I'm a bit of everything. I'm not focused on only one part, and that guides my life and guides my leadership as well when it comes to the groups I manage. Yeah.
At every point in time, there's someone who is on the verge of leaving religion, and there's also someone who is on the verge of joining religion. So what would be your unique selling proposition out there, that for the one who is contemplating, should I leave religion? And for the one who is thinking, should I join religion? What would be your response to such a person?
That's a very good question.
They say atheists and humanists are not evangelical, but this will put you on the spot.
I would tell the person my personal benefit or the advantages I get from humanism as a person. It makes me feel free. First of all, I feel liberated as a person, as a woman, as an African. So depending on who I'm speaking to, I'll let you know that, look, do you want to live your life with the truth? And that's even what I tell myself. You know, there was a point where I used to do it religiously every morning where I'll ask myself, like as if I'm praying, but it's not a prayer, but it's just for me to question myself, why are you an atheist? Why are you an atheist? And I actually started a series with that. I wrote my first article titled Why Are You an Atheist? Part 1. And it was to address why are you an atheist? Like, you know, what's the question? And if I'm able to answer those questions and it still tells me that, yeah, that's why I'm an atheist, then it's certified why I'm an atheist, why I'm a humanist. And the articles were meant to address the frequently asked questions. Why are you an atheist? Oh, because there's no evidence for creationism. So that article was mostly based on the first question. How were we created? How were we created? That's what people ask you. If you're an atheist, if you don't believe in God, then who created us? So that was one of the first questions. But there are many other questions after that. So once I realized that, look, I'm being true to myself. I'm not going to kid myself that we came from a rock, or some, cultures will say we came from Christianity say we came from sand, that's clay or whatever it is, and I came from a ribbon. No, I mean, who am I kidding? You understand? So, if you are moving to Christianity, then think about it. Do you really think you came from a rib or some clay or something like that? Or you want to know the truth? You want to live your truth? And you don't have to be out and about proclaiming to everybody that you're a humanist. You can be a humanist within you. It doesn't have to be. So if you are thinking of moving back to belief, I can understand that sometimes people do that because they long for community and support, especially for the parts of the world that we come from, because those are the ones where your life could depend on it, and which church you belong to, which mosque you attend. So I understand if people want to move there and you have the freedom to do that, but is it your truth? And I think that people should just question themselves when it comes to that. And if you're on the verge of moving and you to atheism, then also think about it. Same question. Is it the truth you want to live by? Do you want to know the truth and seek for more truth, or you just want to live in bliss as an ignorant person? And I think that answers that question for that person. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people, if they see you or hear of your name, they usually tag you with a particular topic in Ghana, which is advocacy for LGBTQ. Now, the question will be, what is an atheist or humanist doing with advocacy for LGBTQ? What inspired you to do advocacy for that? Okay, so yes, people know me as that, but I think I drew to it more. Maybe it's the compassionate side of me as a person, but also more as a humanist. Then, more importantly, usually the case against LGBT people is to do with religion and people using their freedom of religion and belief to discriminate against people. And I think that is not fair. Your freedom of religion and belief also implies freedom from religion and belief, and should not be, it ends where other people's rights begin. So where your right to your freedom of religion and belief ends is where someone's freedom of movement, freedom to education, freedom of housing, freedom of everything, their right to everything also begins. You cannot take that away from them, their freedom of movement, to say that you are going to imprison them because you don't like. That's what your belief tells you. Well, too bad, but your belief has to be put aside. And if we don't stand up against such freedoms being taken away from them, sooner or later it will come to us. Yes, I'm a heterosexual ally, but it also concerns me. It's my society, it's people, it's human beings we are talking about. Why should I sit aside and watch such hatred be meted out to other human beings like myself? It could be me next time. So yeah, I hope that when it does happen to me, I believe that people will also come and speak out to say against any atrocity against me as a human being. So yeah. It's interesting the reasons that you give, because a lot of people, when they hear you advocate for LGBT, what they think about most of the time is, oh look, she's promoting same-sex relationships and all that. But with the reasons that are given, it's more of what people are doing rather against the LGBT community that we are advocating against.
Yes.
Which means that the discrimination and violence that is meted out to that community, that is what you are against.
Yes.
Right. So it's good that you've clarified this, because many people at the back of their minds.
Sorry to catch you, Peter, but yes, so what? So even if I'm advocating that people have their right to love who they want to love who they want to love, how is that a crime? I mean, I can advocate that, yes, let people be free to love who they want to love. Don't hate them for that. But as for the sexual part and so on, it's none of anybody's business what they are doing, in behind closed doors. So it's the same thing. I don't want anybody telling me what I should do with my male partner in bed. I don't. So I will always advocate for that, feel free. But I think more of the fear is also coming from, it's going to spread and we are all going to become gays and lesbians. Well, it's a completely ignorant statement. And I think that it's about time people know it's not contagious. I've been around a lot of LGBTQIA people. It's not contagious. I am still heterosexual and I don't see myself changing, or I don't feel anything. And this is over a decade of me actively being part of the community, and I still haven't changed from that. So I don't know, and I've not been raped or anything like that, So all these things are misconceptions and they need to be debunked. There's nothing wrong if you're advocating for their right to love and be in love or be sexually attracted to the same sex. Now, you can also advocate for the atrocities committed against them. Either way,
Okay, so finally, humanism in Africa, how long do you think the journey is going to be? Because you don't really hear of African humanists. It's only a few here and there, and you're not really seeing any activity. I know of Dr. Leo, I know of Justice, I know of Harrison, and quite a number of them who are actually advocating on humanist issues. But most people will claim they are humanists, but you don't really see they coming out to involve in activity. So what would be your encouragement or inspiration to them to live out their humanism, since you believe that humanism is a force for good? Why should other humanists come out and also be bold and courageous about their humanism?
Yes, I do encourage those in the humanist community especially to do more. And I think we have a long way to go, but I am very optimistic about African humanism actually. I don't think that it's going to, stop anytime now. I think that if I see where I started from and where I've gotten, then I think that, and I know I'm not the smartest person in that group of humanists in Africa. So come on, there's so much we can do. There's so much potential there. I'm excited for what the next generation can do. Even my time is passing small, but I'll always be involved. But I think that, yes, I'm very optimistic about the young ones coming. And I think that we do need to do a lot more in passing on the experiences. Unfortunately for me, there's not many people I could look up to as an African to pass on their experiences or learn. I had to do everything myself from scratch. If anything at all, I'm lucky to know Dr. Lioigwe. So he did guide me. And I remember even taking up certain positions when I was a bit nervous or I felt inadequate for the position. A lot of people saw something in me, I don't know, that encouraged me to take those positions from the start from 2014. But I remember that when I was getting to the board positions and so on, I got so much advice. But one of the things I remember from Dr. Lioigwe was him saying that if you don't take up that space, somebody you wouldn't like to represent your African humanism will take up that space and might not do things that will trickle down to affect or impact your life. So you take up that space or get other people like you who have your vision, who have the same objectives and goals. They don't have to be exactly like Roslyn, no, but they have to have the mindset that they are going to make African humanism grow. That's basically it. If we have some people focused on that, dedicated to that, passionate about it, I think there's a lot we can do about it. And we need to fill in those positions, get more training, not just one-on-one within the community internally, but also externally. We need to make ourselves more visible. I know it's not easy, but we do, because that is how people will, stop the misconceptions about atheists being devilish. All the witchcraft accusations will come down, the discrimination and things like that, because they have someone to look up to. We have the Wole Soyinkes, that he is even also an award winner within the Humanists International Humanist community. So these are people who are renowned outside of humanism, and these are the people that we can look up to as well, and can inspire the next generation of African humanists. So yeah.
Right, and you soon be attending the General Assembly and Conference of the Humanist International organization. What are your expectations for such a conference? I know you've attended a couple of them. Yes. This particular year, what are you hoping to see or get out of the conference?
The theme for this year is pretty exciting. It's about open societies and scientific literacy. These are very important topics, especially now in the world of so much misinformation. And I mean, we are talking about from awareness to action. When I hear action, I get excited. So yes, I'm really excited for this conference. The speakers we have on the lineup is also very impressive, from all over Europe, and even Dr. Leo will also be giving his talk about how he's used scientific literacy and other, aspects of his advocacy to help in stopping witchcraft accusations and assisting victims of witchcraft accusation in Nigeria. So it's going to be exciting. I have so much to learn from that. I love intellectual conversations. So if you love intellectual conversations, you love our general assemblies. And this year, I mean, we are our president, who has been holding that position for the last 10 years and was a board member for 5 years prior to that, Andrew Cobson, who also his vice president, his right hand woman, I would say, yes. So I'm sad to see him go, but I'm also excited to see the new president come in. I think everybody's like anxious, like, what is she going to bring to the organization? And congratulations to her in advance about that. And I am excited to work with her. We've already been working together very well on the board, so that is going to be exciting. And it's going to be very competitive with 2 board member positions that 5 people across the world are vying for. So that's exciting. Europe and America are going to be vying for that position. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Other than that, yes, it's networking. We are expecting a lot more people. People are still arriving in Luxembourg even today. So it will be exciting to meet old faces and meet new faces, get acquainted, have fun. There's a beautiful gala dinner tomorrow night. So, the award winners for that as well will be awarded. And it's just going to be exciting and also. I'm really excited. Accra Atheists too is here representing. So for the first time, we have one member who will be voting on some policies on our behalf. So I'm excited that he's here as well. And I'm glad he's going to get the opportunity, as I have been, vying for more African humanists to attend. So you get the experience, you get that. I feel like for me, it's a refreshing thing, which energizes you for the next year, the next humanist year calendar on what you're going to do in your organizations, in your respective organizations.
All right. So finally, since you are in Luxembourg, what would you tell the citizens about their country? What do you love so far? What is that one thing that makes you feel like, oh, I wish
oh my gosh. I mean, yes, I've been to so many countries since I started attending GAs, but I've not been all over Europe, but and around the world. I mean, last year, Singapore was impressive, to be honest. The people, the city, the transportation, the cleanliness, everything. But Luxembourg is really catching my heart. It's really, really catching my heart. The people are actually nice. It feels like US in terms of the way it's so large and expansive. But then at the same time, there's not so many people on the road. So it feels like, I just love it. The city is so clean. It's so clean, it's so quiet, it's so beautiful, the weather, I don't know, it's summer, so I haven't seen it when it's winter, but it's so beautiful. It's just the buildings, the architecture, the shops, everything about it is so detailed, it's so beautiful. I love it. I wish I could see myself living here, but I don't know what kind of job I can get here to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have a GA in Africa sometime. Maybe
Yes.
Ghana.
Yes. Ghana, Kenya, South Africa. I'm excited for us to explore those options. Let's see what we can do, because a GA has been held before in Africa, which was in Uganda in the 90s. We are not the 90s anymore. Africa has come a long way since then. I think there's a lot we can do now, especially now. At that time, we didn't have groups in Ghana. So now we have groups in many more countries. We should do something. Malawi is there, Tanzania is there. So many countries we can do, something really exciting, nice, and touristy at the same time. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure, and I'm always humbled because you were one person that I looked up to in terms of humanism. When I first came out as an atheist and I chanced the Humanist Association of Ghana, I loved how you're confident, how you're bold. I was like, who is this lady? She's so ferocious and all that. But more importantly, I think there's one thing about you people might not know, because they feel that you are always out there talking. But you have a compassionate side that really mellows me a little bit, and I'm always grateful for that. You've been supportive, you've been very motivating, always encouraging me, and that's one thing I will never forget. So I just wanted to keep that in mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter.
Right. Okay. Nice. Right.